What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean, and today reactions to the classics. We got a top 10 list for our patron Brian, and kind of one of the biggest R.E.M. fans I've come across, man. And that's what we're doing today. Top 10 song reactions to R.E.M. This is going to be Brian's personal list. What he thinks I believe R.E.M. is his favorite band. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I know half the songs on here partially because we have done a triple shot for Brian, and those songs appear on this list. So that was a great primer. That was one of my favorite triple shots we've done.
Yeah, me too. And I know a lot of these songs as well, but there's a lot of them I don't know, even though I'm 48 years old, and these were kind of in the prime of when I was really into music. I'll tell you one thing about Brian. Brian's a really smart music guy all the way around. So really look forward to what he picked here. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like us to react to something for you, do a top 10 list, or support us in any way, check out our Patreon link below. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. Look at our social media groups. We'll have a Facebook group in particular. Great, knowledgeable people talking about music every single day.
Yeah.
And Trey, tell them how they're going to be able to watch this whole video with the music.
Yeah, so due to copyright, we're going to just take out the music. We found that's kind of easier because when you add more than a few songs, it seems they get a little harsher on that. But we have a link to the full video with the music included, y'all, down below in the description if you want to go that route. And if you already know all these tunes and you just want to see our thoughts on them, then you can just chill here at YouTube. Either way is fine with us, man. So anyways, we're gonna jump into this little quick primer. Brian said I will only add that I went from 30 songs down to 18 to 12 and then got to 10. The 10 could be different a year from now, mostly because we as listeners are different, and I think that's kind of important to remember.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember, these things are very hard. As Brian said, his process. You and I have done several ranking lists, mainly for the Beatles, and it's so difficult, everybody. Well, it's so hard, especially when you get down to those last few.
And especially, too, R.E.M., I wasn't aware, they had a wide range of work. 15 studio albums, came out with 4 live albums, a remix album, soundtrack, sold more than 85 million, almost the 100 mil mark. Good on R.E.M. there. They won 3 Grammys and 3 Brit Awards. As I said, I know half the list on here, kind of the more famous tunes.
Yeah.
We had a song on here that was on Rock Band.
So, that's how you know some of this music from that period, Trey.
Yeah, they're a group I'm looking forward to diving into.
Yeah, and I will tell you this lastly. I did not like R.E.M. when I was younger, in my teenage years, 14, 15, 16 years. This wasn't my kind of music. There's stuff I listen to now that I've just come across I like a whole lot more. We're going to start off with Monty Got a Raw Deal from the Automatic for the People masterpiece from 1992. I recently listened to this album fully for the first time after we did the triple shot for Brian. I only had a chance to listen to it once because we listened to so much music. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of seen as their kind of top tier by a lot of people.
So I don't remember this song, even though I did listen to it one time.
So Monty Got a Raw Deal opens the B-side. So let's get to it, y'all. We're, as always, going to have the lyrics pulled up, make a comment here or there, but really save our reaction for the end. And so let's get to it, man. Monty Got a Raw Deal. Looking forward to this one. Thanks again, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Let's get to it. All right, Monty Got a Raw Deal. I think that kind of, when I think of R.E.M., that song encapsulated a lot of that sound.
Yeah, the sound. Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, nice little tune, 3 minutes, 20 seconds or so, just a good little intro.
It, I like how it started off more somber and relaxed, pretty mellow. Went up rocking just a little bit, but it didn't get too fast paced. A little bit, and I think kind of highlighted Stipe's vocals and what he was saying. I see here this kind of a double entendre because this could refer to Montgomery Clift, who was a big Hollywood star in the 40s and 50s. He suffered a car accident, left him in pretty bad health. And then also a show, I haven't heard of this, Let's Make a Deal with Monty Hall. As
Trey's showing his age, everybody out here. Let's Make a Deal is like one of the biggest shows of the 70s. It was actually even before my time, but yeah.
So kind of I like that little technique there. I'll have to dig in more to those stories, but the way Stipe was able to write a song that kind of merged both of those two together, together.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, man. Like the backing kind of echo vocals.
Yeah, the echo vocals were nice.
On the chorus, you don't want the sympathy, and then waste your breath. Don't you waste your breath, waste your breath. So I think that's a good little way to kick off this top 10, man.
I agree. I think it was, you said it, it encapsulates the R.E.M. sound, what you think of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good way to start. Now we're going to go to a song that I don't know at all. I mean, not that I knew the last one, but I did listen to it once. Orange Crush from the Green Album back in 1988. It's a reference to the chemical agent, or to the chemical agent orange,
That's
which
right.
was used in the Vietnam War by the U.S. and really messed up a lot of our own soldiers. Stipe's father served in the Vietnam War, so I expect these lyrics to be pretty
pretty powerful.
pretty intense. Yeah, exactly. So, Orange Crush.
Let's get it, man. Number 9. Orange Crush, number 9. What were your thoughts?
Definitely a different sound or style by them.
Yeah.
It wasn't...
Especially compared to the first song we did.
Yeah, which is only 4 years later, but I liked it. It was just definitely different and not quite what I expected when I read about the subject matter, although I can see it in the song. But just a lot of more cool advanced arrangement and some different techniques in there with a talk and faded out, like almost like the military
talk.
That was
cool, yeah.
So, a very well put together song.
That interlude where we mentioned it during the song where like that helicopter was panning,
going,
and you can't really even almost tell what is being said.
No, you really can't. We could see it because we're reading the lyrics, but otherwise I didn't know what they were saying.
Very kind of faded into the background, which I think just kind of I don't know. I could be reading too much, but just the haze of war,
that's what I was thinking.
So much going on. It's tough to kind of get clarity on what's being said. And my favorite line definitely was, "I've had my fun. Now it's time to serve your conscience overseas." To serve your conscience. I wonder. I think he's talking about the military leaders that are sending them out to fight. Like, it's in my conscience to go and fight here, even if this guy, the soldier, might not want to. Yeah. Hey, that's his job in a sense, even if he doesn't. So, good little tune here, powerful message, and like you, I expected maybe a little more somber type of song. Not that this was like crazy upbeat, but still the melody was pretty catchy, and some of the chorus in there. But enjoyed that one, man. Good number 9 pick there, Brian. I'm digging the list so far.
Yeah, me too, man.
Now we're gonna go to number 8, Swan Swan H, and this one comes off 2 years prior to the record we just listened to, Life's Rich Pageant from 1986.
And these first few songs, I don't have a lot on. I tried to do some research on them. I didn't want to read the lyrics. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't in these top 10s. I just kind of wanted to
experience.
Yeah, but a lot of the next songs, I have a ton of info, but really don't have anything on this. So just looking forward to...
I see it's 2:45, so...
Everyone tells me how great the first 4 or 5 albums from R.E.M. are. So these are, off of that. Yeah. So let's check this out.
All right, number 8, Swan H. Let's get it. Swan H coming in number 8. That, I didn't expect that because it definitely was a little folk-like inspired. That just acoustic guitar that was in the right ear, man. Just a very pleasant riff. It sounded similar to something. I just can't quite place it. That acoustic guitar in there, and then Stipe just kind of going in a little bit. I mean, this is first time we've listened, so probably won't pick up everything. Johnny Reb, kind of a Confederacy symbol here in the States. So it is kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe just from my first thing is that people are just constantly kind of continuing the war theme of old Orange Crush. People are constantly just brought out in war, and lives are lost and stuff is taken away, but that's the price of doing business in a sense.
I think you're probably right on that. It's a little difficult to decipher the lyrics. They're not exactly straightforward, but that's fun. Part of the fun of it sometimes.
Yeah, I like that. Marching feet, Johnny Reb. What's the price of heroes? And then the line there, the whiskey is water, the water is wine. That's one to ponder a little bit as well. And then 6 of one, half dozen the other. Tell that to the captain's mother. So even though you read these huge figures or whatever in war, this or that, like 1,000,000 lives lost, this or that. That's just a number on a page as you read
but
it.
It has real life ramifications to those affected.
Yeah, to the captain's mother, obviously, that's going to be something huge. So, interesting one. That's one I'm going to have to dive into a little bit more.
Yeah, me as well. And that's going to take us to another song off Automatic for the People.
That's right.
Everybody Hurts.
Maybe you think this is their most famous tune, or Losing My Religion?
Losing My Religion, I would think, is more famous, but that would be a question Brian could answer better than I could. But yeah, only went to 29 in the U.S. R.E.M. didn't have a lot of chart success over the years. And just some interesting stuff on it. They share the songwriting credits on their songs, but most of the song was written by their drummer, Bill Berry. His drums actually aren't even in the song. A Univox drum machine took his place.
Interesting.
It's kind of funny. He was responsible for the sampling of the drum pattern on there. And there's a string arrangement, as there is on several songs on this album, by Led Zeppelin bassist John Paul Jones. And Peter Buck, their guitarist, said on this, Everybody Hurts is similar to Man on the Moon. Bill brought it in. It was a 1 minute long country and western song. It didn't have a chorus or a bridge. It had the verse. It kind of went around and around, and he was strumming it. We went through 4 different ideas and how to approach it, and eventually came to that Stax Otis Redding, Pain in My Heart kind of vibe. It took us forever to figure out the arrangement and who was going to play what, and then Bill ended up, as we talked about, not playing on the original track.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I don't know if I'd say he wrote most of it. As you read that, they kind of kicked you around the room, which is how it should be, man. That's an awesome way of going in the lab and making music, and it's a lost art, unfortunately, nowadays. But this song, I am very familiar with it.
Too,
it has a ton of emotion in this from Michael. So
no, man, fantastic tune that I am looking forward to hearing again here. So coming in at number 7. Yeah,
we're already to 7, man. Going quick.
These go quick. Everybody Hurts. What a beautiful. I've never listened to this song as I follow along with the lyrics too. Just a powerful song.
Powerful, and you mentioned it during the song, but I'll mention it for those of you who are just watching along on YouTube and not watching through the whole video. The emotion in this song is tremendous, but also the arrangements. It's almost a perfect constructed song, perfectly constructed song.
I'd agree, man. It's
Michael's lyrics. You feel it, man. You feel that he's hurting. It's got to be that way. And in a song with these lyrics, the arrangement has to be dialed back. You know what it is. His vocals in the mixing are put at the front, but the instrumentation still sets the mood just perfectly. This song was written, a lot of people say, and they've said it was, and they said it wasn't, but towards teenagers, teen fans who are going through a hard time. As you said, this song's very appropriate for 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Most of us are going through hard times, but you know what? Everybody hurts. And sometimes when you're hurting, it feels like you're the only one that's hurting.
Right.
And so I think it's fantastic. I knew the song, but I've never looked at the lyrics and just really felt it.
Me too, man.
Like this either, man. It's tremendous.
It is, just powerful. A couple things that impressed me. I mean, you already mentioned, but the way, when the instruments came in was perfect. Strings didn't come in till halfway through the song, and then the outro, we got the heavier electric guitar to give it just a final kind of punch, which I thought was just fantastic.
And you mentioned at the start, this is the longest song, but it doesn't seem like it.
No,
at all.
It doesn't. No, the 5 minutes, 20 seconds just fly by. Just lyrically, just phenomenal. And I see here somebody noted, and I can see it, the song has strong similarities to Rock and Roll Suicide by Bowie, the closing track on Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. And that's one of my favorite Bowie tunes. And once that was in my head, I was like, it does kind of have a little bit of the same music, a little bit similarities to it, but just a fantastic song. This will maybe not definitely, but I think this will end up in my top 3 favorites.
Be careful,
at the end. And just a little teaser. We got one more song left from Automatic for the People that'll be coming up at some point. But now we're gonna move on to to number 6, rather, Fall on Me off of Life's Rich Pageant, again from 86. This song went to 94 in the US, and in an interview, Michael commented that the finished version of the song is not about acid rain. It's a general oppression song about the fact that there are a lot of causes out there that need a song that says, quote, "Don't smash us," and specifically there are references to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and the guy dropping weights and feathers.
Yeah, because a lot of people said it's about acid rain, and he said the first version of it that he wrote was, but this was not. And just so you know what you're hearing when we're listening to it, it's something of a duet between Stipe and Mike Mills, with the two of them sharing vocals prominently during the bridge and chorus. Mills takes the lead vocals for the bridge. Later in the song, they're joined by Bill Berry's vocals in the chorus with the words, "It's Gonna Fall." So,
man, we're only 5 tracks in, but all these songs have kind of like powerful undertones.
They really
or
do.
Meanings
Yeah,
or
they really
messages
do.
behind them. So I appreciate that. So let's get to it, man. Number 6.
And I have no idea about this.
No, Fall on Me. Let's get rocking. Dad, you like this track more, or Swan H, which was number 8?
I like this song more. I'll tell you something about this song. The instrumentation's fine, but it's not very complicated.
No.
But the vocals are very complex. The delivery of these vocals is very complex. A little 2-minute 50-minute song, 50-second song that if you listen to, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's a nice little catchy ditty. But when you really listen to it, you look at the lyrics and see the backing coming in, they're layering over the top of themselves. Like,
especially on the outro, where there were 3 of them.
3 of them, very difficult to pull off, man. So
I mean,
a sweet song, man.
And it's interesting because all 3 are kind of saying different types of things on it. I can't recall. I mean, I'm sure I've heard it before, but I can't recall a song where there's 3 harmonizing vocals, but they're all saying different lyrics.
Yeah, I know. I can't recall that either. I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure we've heard them, but man.
The longer the song went, the more I enjoyed it, just because
too.
That this has definitely, I think, been the catchiest chorus that we've heard up to this point. It was very light, a little sunny and fair, which is kind of interesting because he's saying "Don't fall on me." And you got this cool, catchy tune. So I like that aspect of it. This was a great song right here. So Life's Rich Pageant's got some bangers on it. I see. I can already tell they're a group that I'm gonna want to go back to the beginning to Murmur and just kind of work my way through.
Your way through, man. I think that's a good thing to do.
Through their catalog, and then now we're in the top half, people. Number 5. Song we've reacted to before, and
we did it in the triple shot. When we did it, we have a member of the RTTC community who commented on YouTube that he's actually named Kenneth after this song, so he's probably going to win on anybody who's all in on this song.
That's right. What's the frequency, Kenneth?
From the Monster 1994 album, went to 21 in the U.S., 2 in Canada, 9 in the U.K. The song's title
is a great story.
It's a great story. It refers to an incident that happened in 1986 in New York City to the very famous reporter and at that time CBS News anchor Dan Rather. A couple men approached him on the street, jumped him, started hitting him, and while they were doing it, they were screaming, "What's the frequency, Kenneth?" So I thought that was very interesting. Stipe said that he wrote it. I wrote that the protagonist as a guy who's desperately trying to understand what motivates the younger generation, who has gone to great lengths to try and figure them out. And at the end of the song, it's completely effing bogus. He got nowhere. And the tempo of it's interesting, Trey.
Yeah, so Peter Buck explained why the song slows down in its conclusion. He said the truth is, Mike, I'm talking about Mike Mills, the bassist, slowed down the pace and we all followed. And then I noticed he looked strange. It turned out he had appendicitis. We had to rush him to the hospital. So we never wound up redoing it. My sister recently had appendicitis, and it's just like that.
It's just like, boom.
It just hits you and you're just like, oh my gosh. So
so listen for that at the end of the song,
Mike.
Because they slow down and everyone's probably just in the studio going, all right, man, we'll follow this lead. And poor Mike is going down, man.
But a great tune right here, man. So let's get to it. I also find it funny on Spotify. They list this as explicit, and it's like you expect Mike to go on some F-bomb tirade, which is not the case. I don't know why this song is listed as explicit.
I don't
on
either.
Spotify,
I was wondering that too.
That always kind of cracks me up. But top 5, y'all. Number 5. Let's get it, Kenneth. I guess I didn't remember that line.
I didn't remember that line either.
Don't F with me.
At the very end, right? That's what he says at like the very end. I never understood. Don't F with me. And then the song is, if you don't know that's what it says, you're not going to pick that up because the guitar is distorting it out a little bit and stuff. But what a great tune. And I like the little guitar effect in it. It just gives it this nice little great hook. Well, it's a fantastic
song. Speaking of the guitar, too, this is the first time we've had any and it wasn't even that long, but an instrumental solo at all.
Good point.
Peter Buck, halfway through the song, was able to get a very a bit of a fuzzy type of guitar solo in there, which I enjoyed quite a bit. Thankfully, we're not wearing any violent green shirts right now.
No, exactly, man. Might not turn out well for us.
And, you know, this is a tune that I think a lot of people can relate to that are maybe, especially in 2020 where the culture moves so quick of keeping up with everything, keeping up with the youth and whatnot. This guy, he studied the cartoons, the radio, the music, the TV, movies, magazines, but... It's just tough. You said that irony was the shackles of youth. I really dig that line.
Yeah,
that's kind of a line that sticks out to me. So number 5, can't go wrong with that, Brian. Good
Agreed.
pick with What's the Frequency, Kenneth. All right, we're up to number 4 now.
We are.
We're up to a song that I first became familiar with through the video game Rock Band, of all places.
Yeah, Trey, I'm getting old. You know all these songs from Rock Band. I remember this song, The One I Love, off Document in 1987. Their first hit single, number 9 in the U.S., 14 in Canada, 16 in the UK. It's become a popular radio dedication to loved ones, relying on a misinterpretation of its refrain. This one goes out to the one I love. Everybody knows that. However, subsequent lyrics in the same verse contradict the love song interpretation and suggest a darker, more manipulative theme. There's a simple prop to occupy my time. Stipe said the next year in '88 that the song was incredibly violent and added, it's very clear that it's about using people over and over again. So that misuse of it just makes me think, Trey, you and I are both Christians. We see people misuse, and we see pastors do it too, misuse Bible verses all the time. I call them the coffee cup Bible verses because you don't read what's before or after those verses.
Yeah, you take that one line.
Oh, this sounds great. Do you realize it's really, and that's what we got here. You know, we just rock it out to the one I love. So it's a great song. Man.
Oh no, I really love it. But I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I've heard the song a lot by playing it on Rock Band, but I don't know if it ever just connected that. Yeah, it's got that simple prop line in there, so this will be fun to follow along.
Yeah, I mean, if we had a better setup here, you could play along to it on Rock Band while we do it. That would be an awesome conglomeration of things.
All right, man. Number 4, let's get it. The one I love.
Well, Trey, I think the lesson to this one for all boys and girls out there is do not dedicate this to your significant other unless...
Read the lyric sheet. Yeah.
Unless you're trying to tell them something, and then by all means do. But I didn't ever realize that either. Pretty simple lyrically as well. Yeah. There's not a lot in here, but what is the predominant theme is, look, you're my prop, I left you behind. Now I found another one and they're a prop as well.
And maybe it just is misinterpreted so because each verse is just bookended by this one goes out to the one I love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the common thing you hear in the song.
So yeah, that repetition just brings that way reminder.
And then with the chorus just being the scream of fire, it doesn't really lend anything to the meaning of the song as much. So.
And we mentioned it in the reaction. But again, using that chorus technique, like Stipe was just on his own for the first chorus, but then Mills comes in, I believe it's Mills, coming with those backing vocals. She's coming down on her own now. Kind of the only line in the song where the significant other does anything besides be a prop, and then as the that third verse, now he's on to another prop has occupied his time. Probably my favorite performance by Peter Buck thus far. Enjoyed the solo, and that instrumental at the start is just...
Yeah, it's nice.
Pretty darn awesome. This one gonna definitely be in the running for my top 3 and my favorite tracks at the end here.
This one's gonna be hard. Now, we're gonna get to a track at number 3 off the Murmur 1983 album.
The
debut, Radio Free Europe. And Trey, I fought not to listen to the song. I have not listened to the song, but when I did the research, the song intrigued me greatly, and I'm like, golly, should I just spin this? But I didn't. But it was their debut single on the short-lived independent label, Hib Tone. It received critical acclaim. Its success earned the band a deal with IRS Records. They re-recorded it for the debut, Murmur.
All right.
The re-recording became the group's first charting single. It peaked at 78, but in 1983, going to 78 on the singles chart was a pretty big deal.
On a label like IRS, not a huge label, so...
It's 389 on the Rolling Stones top 500 songs of all time. A song that's going to come in a couple or is going to be on that list as well, but... Here's the part that is fascinating. Stipe's lyrics are hard to discern and largely serve to give the singer something to vocalize with. That was what I read in 3 different places. I don't even know what that means. When first developing the original song, Stipe intentionally did not want the lyrics to be understood, as he, quote, hadn't written any of the words yet. So I guess he was just, mumbling along to the melody. Yeah. Also, when the song was played live, Stipe improvised his own set of lyrics halfway through the song, so no wonder no one knows what he's saying. And in a 1988 NME interview, he denied the interviewer's claim that his lyrics on Murmur were indecipherable, but acknowledged that on this particular song, Radio Free Europe, was one of the few exceptions, describing it as complete babbling. So it's complete babbling, yet it's viewed as this great song, and it's on the Rolling Stones top 500 songs of all time. So you can say what you want about Rolling Stone, but to make the list of the top 500 songs of all time, there's something there. So
interesting.
I don't know, man. But let's see what we got here.
I like it. We're going to throw it all the way back,
all
the way back to the first one. Number 3, Radio Free Europe. Radio Free Europe. I see too. It is the very first song on Murmur. So this is
there's a good quote on here I want to read in just a minute. I think I made a mistake starting out reading the lyrics because I'm with you. You said it started going on, like I can understand the words. So towards the last part of the song, I closed my eyes, I started looking around. So I didn't know the lyrics, but I already knew what some of the lyrics were. But when I didn't know what some of them were, you really can't quite understand them. But
that's what I was wondering. But we kind of
like when you're following, like, oh yeah, I see that in there. But when I looked away, I'm like,
if I didn't know what it said, would I be able to? It is
a little more difficult, but I think drummer Bill Berry said this about this song, and that's what makes it as important as anything. This song was pivotal to the continuation of our career. Most fans may not realize that for 2 years before Murmur was released, we barely made financial ends meet by playing tiny clubs around the Southeast. Our gasoline budget prevented us from going any further.
On the struggle, man.
Put simply, our existence was impoverished. College radio and major city club scenes embraced this song and expanded our audience so we could play medium venues instead of the small venues. And just that little difference, he said, made it possible to logically pursue this wild musical endeavor. I dare not contemplate what our fate would have been had this song not appeared when it did. So it might have been done.
It does have that sound that really seems just like tailor-made for that college radio.
Yeah, really, for sure.
Those young adults, later teen type of listeners, man, and I more upbeat kind of or fast tempo rather, I guess I should say, than a lot of tunes we've heard tonight. And the effect on the chorus was definitely my favorite part.
Yeah, it was nice, especially for a debut.
Yeah, for his for Stipe's voice, like calling out in transit, almost like it was panning a little bit. It had a little echo on it. And just that constant guitar just propelling the tune. It was pretty darn catchy too. And like we mentioned, I didn't find it as indecipherable as many.
No,
were
I didn't
saying,
either. But maybe and in concert and stuff when he does that changes the lyrics, maybe that was a little difficult. And the last thing I'll just say on the impoverished part that people don't think about sometimes is. If I'm a singer-songwriter, I'm just going with my acoustic and I'm playing clubs and I'm making pick a number, $200, for a night. It's me, and if I don't have any band to come in, it's me. But if there's 3, 4, 5 people in the band and we're stretching this $200 out over 3 or 4 of us and we're driving there.
That is tough, yeah.
Like, man, bands still do this. They still grind it out, but it's not nearly the same as it once was. It's because technology in the world we live in has made it a little different to make it. But thought that was a great story about that. And now we're going to come to a song that was on our triple shot.
That's right. This is, I mentioned earlier, there was one more song left on Automatic for the People, and we are to it. Nightswimming, fantastic tune.
Fantastic. I never heard it till we did the triple shot.
No, me neither. Reached 27 in the UK. You have Stipe. He's accompanied only by Mike Mills on piano, actually. And then again, we have that string arrangement by old John Paul Jones. Yep. And then even an oboe in here.
Which you don't see in a contemporary song very often.
The oboe making a comeback, man.
Exactly, man.
Stipe sings about a group of friends who go skinny dipping at night, which draws from similar experiences to the band's early days, which is what we were just talking about. However, Stipe says the song is about a, quote, kind of innocence that's either kind of desperately clung onto or obviously lost.
Yeah, so the other members of the band said, look, we used to actually do this, like in playing those clubs, as we just shared in the story in the song, previous to this, that they had played basically the same places, so they had a lot of people they knew in each club they went into, and afterwards they would go out and drink by the lake and jump in the lake, and so that was kind of what it was about. But Mike lent a little more serious tone to it, what he shared there. But Man, just a fantastic song.
Oh yeah, this one is great, man. Night Swimming. Strap in if you've never heard it, man. It's a great one. Number 2, Night Swimming, man. Just a beautiful, beautiful song. This competition for our top 3 at the end here is gonna be fierce.
Quite tough, dude. Yeah,
gonna be fierce. I just really love the arrangement on this. I mean, I know that's a basic statement there, but the way that the piano, it's just a very pleasant melody throughout.
Yeah, it's so much different than anything else we've heard.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's totally, kind of a left turn from pretty much every other song on this record.
Yeah, definitely.
The piano is, the main instrument, and then you got the strings by JPJ that come in just so beautifully yet again, and even the oboe and the outro there at the end. Just a wonderful mix of instrumentation, and I think Stipe, this is one of his strongest songs lyrically here, just kind of pointing to that fact that just almost that nostalgia, that childlike innocence going away.
They're saying, there are some interviews where he says it also harkens back to when he was a teenager and did some of this stuff, and I'd forgot about it. We did this on the triple shot. I forgot about it, but then I heard it, and you hear it 3 or 4 times in here where his voice cracks.
No, I noticed that too.
Because there's so much emotion in it, and they didn't redo it. They didn't, mix it out. I love that. It's like,
me too. It's
everything
raw.
Doesn't have to be freaking flawless, created in a studio, and so it's raw, and it just gives the song that much more power and emotion. It's a fantastic song, man.
Oh, it is just wonderful, man. I got to get on listening to Automatic for the People.
I got to go back and listen to it again, man. That's what I'm going to have to do.
Just lovely, lovely song. Just packs an emotional punch, that's for sure. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the number 1 song, according to our guy, Brian. I think most people are going to know what this one is. It, is... I would say, I know I said Everybody Hurts, but yeah, I would say this is their most famous tune. Losing My Religion, coming in at number 1, Out of Time, 1991 is where this song can be found. Lead single, this is their highest charting song, gets number 4 in the United States. This won 2 Grammys, and you mentioned earlier we were going to have another song that appears on the Rolling Stones 500 Greatest Songs list. This is number 169, man. So
and the interesting story on this is R.E.M. guitarist Peter Buck wrote the main riff and chorus of the song on a mandolin while watching television one day. He had just bought it. He didn't know how to play it. He's messing around. And he said everything else he played was horrible. But this somehow stuck out of it, takes it in the studio the next day. Now, the record label, Warner Brothers, did not want to release this as the first single because of, 1, they didn't think it sounded commercial enough, but 2, they're really worried about the religion aspect in it. But it's not about that, Trey. Tell us the story about what it's really about.
No, that, the phrase losing my religion is an expression from the South that means losing one's temper or feeling frustrated and desperate. Stipe told the New York Times that the song was about a romantic expression. He told Q that losing my religion was about, quote, somebody who pines for somebody else. It's unrequited love. What have you. He also noted that it's a little bit compared to The Police's Every Breath You Take. A little bit, it's just a classic obsession pop song. I've always felt the best kinds of songs are the ones where anybody can listen to it, put themselves in it, and say, yeah, that's me. So
that's Stipe himself talking, because we did this on the triple shot, and I had some people pushing back on the explanation of what this song's about. No, that's not what it's about. Well, here's Stipe saying in a couple of different interviews. I mean, I have more on this than I had in the triple shot. Here's what he's saying. So, despite what any of us want the song to be about, this is the guy who wrote it. So that's what it's about. But man, I don't know what we're gonna do. We got to listen to this song for. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this top 3. I'm gonna be stressing through this whole song about it, man.
All right, man. Let's get to R.E.M's most famous song and number 1 on Brian's list. Losing My Religion in the one hole. Can't think of a better way to wrap up an R.E.M. centered video than that. I mean, I know this song has been talked about and whatnot to death, but for good reason. It is, I think, just a lovely, lovely tune, and definitely you can make the case for it being the best song on this list.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. I mean, it's almost a perfectly constructed song all the way around, between Mike's, vocals to the tempo change, to the instrumentation. Like, it's just done beautifully, and the second it hits what it is.
And I like the way too, and he does this a lot, where he like phrases the words. That's me in the corner, and then that's me in the spotlight. He gives some time for it to breathe. Kind of really enunciates on this song, and just one of his better songs lyrically, I think, as well. And now that's going to take us to our 3 favorite tunes.
Yeah,
this one's tough. This is one of the toughest ones.
This is going to be the toughest one for me. And we've done several of these lists, and some of them are really good. This is the first one we've done where I'm going to steal this playlist from you and just actually listen to it.
Yeah, man, this is
Brian
killer.
did a phenomenal job putting this together. I know there's some favorites that are left off here because guess what? It's a top 10
list.
It's
only 10, man.
It's only 10. Now, this is really hard, but we always give our 3 favorites. I think there's 6 or 7 songs in here, and I said it at the outset when I was talking about what Brian told us about. This could very well change a year. I think there's 6 or 7 songs in here you could actually just put on a list, press the shuffle button, and that order you wouldn't argue that they're in.
That's a good point, man.
For me, I'm going to go with the kind of what people would think. I'm going to go with Losing My Religion.
I mean, it's one of their most acclaimed, I think, for a reason, man.
But I'm going to go with, it's Brian's number 2, but not most people's number 2. I'm going to go with Nightswimming. Then that third spot was just a bloodbath, man.
It's tough.
I'm actually going to go with Fall on Me.
Ooh, I like that, man. A nice sleeper there. We got...
It's hard.
I'm going Nightswimming as well. It's just tough for me to leave that tune off. It's so beautiful.
It is, man.
I'm going to go The One I Love.
See, that was definitely in the running.
And then it's really tough. I really considered Fall on Me. That's interesting that you put that on there. I thought that was a great kind of a great underrated tune that not like a humongous hit or anything, but that's why I love listening to these lists. Losing My Religion obviously got a lot of consideration. Radio Free Europe as well.
I know, me too, man.
Because I just really love the way the effects were used there, kind of a little more raw sound since it was early, but I got to go and be a little basic here myself, and I got to land on Everybody Hurts.
Yeah, I thought you might. And then, I mean, that's a great
choice. It's razor thin, man.
It's so good as well.
I don't even know which one of these I would consider my absolute favorite. You could talk me into, as you mentioned, 3, 4, 5 different ones here.
Yeah, me too.
Just a really fun list here, Brian, and I'm glad that you gave us this list, man. It was a very fun one to react to. In the comments, y'all, let us know your give us your top 10, man. See how difficult it is to narrow down.
Exactly, and let us know what you think should have been in there. But be gentle, man, because this is very difficult. To do.
And this has gotten me excited to dive into R.E.M.
Yeah, me as well.
More for sure. But anyways, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Again, Brian, appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
And all our patron supporters who help this channel keep on rocking. And until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. Happy listening, and we will see ya.